Welcome back to another NBHL Game of the Week. This is for Week 6. We started our tour of the Games of the Week in Pittsburgh back in Week 1, and we're going again today with the Brighton Heights Renegades and Penn Hills Imperium. I'm Matthew Aaron. Thank you so much for being with us for a Game of the Week featuring two of the best teams from the Pittsburgh region, one of whom is trying to get back to their standards they've been setting the last couple of years, one whose season is getting underway today. The Renegades are playing in their first game. They were the first place team last year in Pittsburgh Tier 1. In the regular season, they lost in the finals to the McKeesport Aces, who we saw in our first game of the week. And in the overall national semifinals, they lost to the team, the Buffalo 716ers, who are going on to win that tournament. So they are trying to keep themselves up at the top of not just Pittsburgh, but nationally. And the Penn Hills Imperium, not only did they win the Pittsburgh Tier 1 title in 2021, 22, and 23, they were the overall national champions in 21 and 22, but they didn't even make the Nationals tournament last year because they lost in the Pittsburgh semifinals. They are 0-2, and they are trying to get back to the standards they have set over the last few years. Should be a fun one from Pittsburgh, and we will have the Game of the Week for you in just a minute.
From the beginning of time, men and women have been friends, family, but yet rivals as well. Some of the most epic battles have been fought from the North to the South Pole and anywhere in between. As time flies, battles have transformed themselves into sports. Yet, the fundamentals remain the same, with lighter shields and a different type of sword. But evolution is clever. It introduces new rules but keeps one thing intact: adrenaline. So it's with honor and pride that we present to the world all of the above into one sport. Hockey ball, the game born in the North that can be played from the mountains to the ocean, and from America to Europe, all the way to the land of the rising sun. Napper. Anyone, anywhere.
Thanks, Fulric. Pittsburgh is where we are for our Game of the Week. Week number 6, Penn Hills Imperium and the Brighton Heights Renegades. Should be a fun one today. As we mentioned off the top of the show, Imperium are one of the teams that have dominated this division, but not last year. They didn't make the Nationals for the first time ever. And the Renegades last year were your first place team in the regular season and ended up losing in the final to the Aces. As we said, we saw them in Week 1. Let's get going. The Penn Hills Imperium were yellow and black because it is Pittsburgh, but they're blue and maroon this year. The Renegades, you can see their colors a little bit darker and deeper colors as the play is iced immediately 8 seconds in. Lots of great players on these rosters. Lots of great teams we are looking forward to seeing in the Pittsburgh region as we saw in Week 1, and here are two others. Renegades, this is their first game of the season. Imperium lost to the Aces last week 7-2 and lost to the Penn Hills Battalion 3-2. That is a sister team to the Penn Hills Imperium. There are players that move up from both teams. There's a first shot. It's stopped by Pat Bell. That was Mark Bergamasco, number 25, who took that. He was on the battalion last year, national team player, and was a first-team All-Pittsburgh in 2021. And the Renegades will get set up. Renegades, of course, is a perfect name for a team based in Pittsburgh. Imperium trying to work their way towards the front of the net. That shot never came through. Now we'll see what the Renegades have on offer here in the offensive zone. First look as they go at Zach Ballesteri, the goalie, number 39 for the Imperium. Brendan Persichetti, number 43, another national team player, tried to bring it up the wall. He didn't have any room to work with, and so he's going to try another outlet as an Imperium player got dumped behind the play. Struggling to break the ball out into the offensive zone. This touched ahead by Nick Phillips, number 91. Richie Allen, team captain. He was on the battalion last year. There's a bunch of players who've played up and down on both teams, even though they play each other in the top division, and went the way of the battalion earlier in the season. As we said earlier, that's a 3-2 game. The Imperium trying to avoid starting 0-3. That's a difficult hole to dig out of. Certainly. Renegades being very, very patient to start the proceedings here, getting this ball into the offensive zone. They've struggled to do so, and Phillips will take it away and reset himself. Whole lot of this to start the game, but see if the Imperium can try to break this pressure that they're facing. Looking to get the ball out, and they struggled to do so. That's Rennebeck, and a big slap shot is scored by Anthony Bigliazzi, who had 6 goals last season, and he blasts home a first one, and it is a 1-0 lead for the Renegades. And this just comes off a simple turnover, trying to break the ball out. Jake Hollick trying to get it up the wall, and this is just hammered right through the 5-hole. Ballesteri had a little trouble seeing that and stopping it, so it's a 1-0 lead for the Renegades very early on in this first period. Didn't take very much. And here they're back on the attack again. Begano, number 86. He tries to work it down low into the Ethan Helbling, number 25. Trying to dig a ball out there, and he ends up winning that battle in the corner. Begano again. Back up high to number 44, Matt McGauley. And that goes over the top of the net. Ballesteri trying to settle it down. The first shot he saw went right through the 5-hole. Difficult situation. Almost a chance for a breakaway there. Persichetti almost latched onto the end of that outlet pass, but he couldn't here. 3 minutes into the opening period, 1-0 lead for the Renegades. Shane Ferris. That is set towards the net. That was stopped by Pat Bell. So now it's time for the Imperium to respond. Kept it at the floating blue line. There's Anquan Smith, number 16. Really good defenseman. MVD last year. That shot went wide. Picked up along the side of the net. And the chance goes in. That's Cam Smith, number 19. He's able to get that through. Pat Bell, after a really good sequence for the Imperium to tie this game at 1. Shot goes wide. Little change of possession. It's Bergamasco and Smith, and he gets it right there over the glove. And Persichetti also got a second assist as well, so it is 1-1. Really lively start to this game. I think we've played about 3.5 minutes, so we've already got a couple of goals. Chase Malloy, number 7, trying to bring it up the wing. He finds Ricky Annison, another national team player. There are a bunch on both of these squads. We'll get into that as the game goes on. Have a feeling they're going to be players that have a big role in the outcome of this game. Annison knocked that down with his glove. Kept this way. Quick shot. That went in. That was the other number 19, Michael Felsing. Annison helped set it up. This one, I think, surprised Ballesteri. It's just a little chipped ball right here. And, oh, that went through the 5-hole again. Second 5-hole goal. And Felsing has picked one up. He had 4 goals last season. He picks up his first of the season, and now it is 2-1. So 4 minutes in, we've already had 3 goals. Wonder if this is an omen for things to come. Richie Allen sets up behind his own cage. Passes out to Smith. He's going to be so important in the way this game goes. As Krause trying to rip his way through, but he lost possession to David Stroka, number 27. Play would have been offside, so they had to reset. Lee Migliozzi, coming off a 6-goal, 6-assist season last year, number 9. As we're approaching the halfway point of a very entertaining first period. 3 goals already. Chipped in along this left wing. Down low, it's Strelka. Trying to get it out in front. Ballesteri had to come and close that short side down. 2 5-hole goals. Any goalie who gives up those is going to be frustrated. There's another chance. Steri made the save there on Felsing. That one would have been a 5-hole goal, but he made a nice save. This is Krause. Trying to get it towards the front of the net. That didn't come all the way through. A backhand shot goes in. How about another goal? This is Persichetti. He's just picked up his 3rd goal of the season. Goals are coming in like rainwater. And Krause trying to get this set up, and this is just a backhand shot. It's a perfect shot. How about that? Persichetti just laid into one on the backhand. A great shot to make it 2-2. No goalie in the world stopping that. And now it is 2-2. Little more than halfway through this first period. That was kept in by Tommy Sposito, number 13 at the left point. Up the wall it goes. And it was Weaver, number 4, who chipped it along the... You can't call it glass because it's not glass, but the safety fence, I guess. Ball stayed in play as it's the Renegades' turn to run for it. Rennebeck gets there and it washed out any possible icing. He tries to center it. Couldn't get it to Jacob Fetzer, number 20. Long point shot is going to deflect off of some amount of sticks and out of play. This might have gone off Ballesteri's stick last. Have to see. Oh, he made the save. Yeah, he made a stick save there. Very good stick save. Going low and tipped that ball out of play. In the midst of all that, I think there was a penalty called. Didn't see it in live time, but it was a slashing minor on Bergamasco. That was the play. It wasn't offside. Beg your pardon for that. So it's a power play for the Renegades trying to get the lead back. We've exchanged goals here in the period. There's a shot that was stopped. Ballesteri from up high. Trying to center it, and they score. And that is Chase Malloy with a power play goal. Beautiful setup as Anderson and Rennebeck get their second assist of the period. Ballesteri makes the first save. That's a really nice play by Rennebeck to set it up, and then there's just a lot of room to pick the glove there for Chase Malloy. So it is a 3-2 Renegades lead. Not an easy period for the goalies. Easy period for the neutrals with all the goals. That was shot in, and Ballesteri made the save on the dump-in attempt. They're looking for a fourth goal. That comes around. And Hellblade tries to get it towards Begeno, and that shot was blocked. This is Allen, who is the team captain, trying to break this out. Goes up the wall. Persichetti picked up his third goal of the season earlier in the period. Lobbed towards the line. That was Bergamasco trying to set it up. There's an opportunity. Bell trying to make the save. It's loose at the side of the net. That was Persichetti again. Nearly scored another goal. Loose along the wall. It's Rennebeck trying to push it ahead. Whistle goes. I think we just got another penalty called. See what happened. Rennebeck. Oh, yeah. That's a high stick. Made a bit of a mess of that. Rennebeck with 2 assists of the period. And now a high sticking minor. So it's now a chance for the Imperium to just whale a shot. That was Anquan Smith who just lashed one over the top of the net. Loose behind. Trying to clear. There was some high contact there, I think. You could see that Ballesteri was heading off, and we have another penalty. This is going to be on Persichetti. I'm going to get a chance to look at the setup here. It comes with a blasted point shot that misses the net. The attempt for Bergamasco didn't go. And then here's the penalty. That was on Persichetti for roughing. So he's now picked up a penalty, and he gets a... After all of that, then as they bring it in. So 2 penalties on the board right now as another shot from Smith goes high and deflects out of play. It's a 5-on-3 for a little bit for the Imperium. Opportunity to get this game even again. 3-2. Renegades have the lead right now late in the first period. Wild games thus far. Smith shooting one. That comes all the way in with about 2.5 to go in this period. Phillips trying to center it on his backhand, was not able to do so on this 5-on-4. I said 5-on-3. It was a mistake as Renegades trying to bring it up, end up turning it over, and Imperium gives it right back. Try to clear. Chipped in by Anderson. Opportunity to see if the Imperium could get this set up. It's Smith again. He definitely doesn't mind shooting. Bell made a save. That was an awkward-looking one. Chipped high off the fence and stayed in. Sent along. Bergamasco far side. He's going to get back up to Smith. He's going to shoot again, and that goes wide. Loose in front for a second. And they'll be cleared by the Renegades. Well, Sterry had a little trouble playing that, but he's able to set the table for Jake Hollick, number 88. Looked ahead for Krause. Allen shoots, and that got through. Oh, I thought Bell made the save. It actually squeaked through. See, what happened here was a harmless-looking play. Long point shot. Oh, yeah, it squeezed through. We've got a couple of 5-hole goals today. Another one goalie probably wants back. It's Brendan Krause, who has his second goal of the season. Allen and Hollick get the assist, and it's 3-3. As the penalty is about to come to an end, as it now has, as we are back to full and even strength of a 3-3 wild period. Imperium looking for another chance. They haven't led at any point today. This is Weaver. Sends it along. Picked up by Rennebeck up the wall. Trying to get it over the red line. Has not done so yet. Still hasn't. And finally gets it ahead. That one's out of play. Going to draw it down in the offensive zone for the Renegades. They have to be frustrated because they've scored 3 goals, and every single time the Imperium have come back to tie the game up. This is a team that only scored 2 goals in each of its first 2 games against the Aces and the Battalion. And so they've already bettered that total, almost doubled their goal total for the season with 3 in the first period. Anquan Smith trying to play it ahead. This is Ferris trying to push it into the offensive zone. 35 seconds to go in the period. This is Ferris, who will work it around the kick plate to get it to the opposite side. That's knocked down by Anderson, who jumped up. He's looking for a chance, and he missed the target. Smith tried to clear. He did get it ahead. Period's on the verge of expiring. 15 seconds to go. Trying to get a give and go back into the slot for Krause. That shot never made it all the way through. And it's iced right at the tail end of the period with 8.5 seconds to go. The intermission will be a chance for everyone to catch their breath with all the goals. So many of them to keep track of. As for the goalies to reset, both are good goalies. Pat Bell was the MVG in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, national team goalie. He's given up 3. Alistairi's also given up 3. Handful of those, I think half of them have gone through the 5-hole. One more chance off the draw, perhaps. That shot was blocked. It's back to the neutral zone, hammered on in. That got blocked, and the third chance gets cleared right at the buzzer. What a period. 3 goals each way and a couple of penalties, I should say. Well, if that's any indication of the game we're getting, we've got a lot of fun to come. Stay tuned for the intermission report.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages, because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Welcome to the first intermission report of the NBHL Game of the Week for Week 6. Penn Hills Imperium and the Brighton Heights Renegades. And boy, oh boy, do we have an intermission report for you. We can't even show you all of the goals because there were so many of them. Matthew, Aaron, thank you so much for being with us for this Game of the Week. As I said, we can't show you all the goals. Let's just show you a couple of them. How about this Persichetti goal? One of the best plays of the week. Absolutely killer backhand right here. Just throws it by Pat Bell. There's not a whole lot he could do on that. And then this is a power play goal from Chase Malloy. There were a lot of penalties that we couldn't clear up entirely for you. I'm going to get to that in just a second. Anderson and Rennebeck got their second assists of the game already. And Krause picks up his second goal of the season to tie it up 3-3 for Imperium. Wild, wild first period. And let's just go over the penalties for a second. Bergamasco got a minor for slashing. Then there was a power play goal. Then you see another penalty. It's Rennebeck who picks up one for high sticking. And then Hunter Fairman got a roughing penalty. Persichetti got a roughing penalty later in the period. Lots of penalties to go on. It's confusing. I apologize for not bringing it up in commentary. But one power play goal that came for Chase Malloy of the Renegades, as you saw. And we will get to the second period where maybe there will be a little bit more chaos. After the first period, who could say? We'll see you then. Let's get to the second period. A beautiful day in Pittsburgh. It is 3-3 between the Brighton Heights Renegades and the Penn Hills Imperium. What a first period. Alternated goals the whole way. What do we have in store for the second period? More goals, I imagine. Again, the Imperium not in yellow and black as they had been in the past. They are now in maroon and blue. The Renegades colors that darker blue as Megale will send it around in his own zone, trying to set the table for the Renegades. This is their first game of the season. Imperium are 0-2, so they're trying to get off the schneid. They have been one of the best teams in Pittsburgh, one of the best teams nationally, but last year, as you said, they didn't even make the national tournament. So Imperium does not want to start this season 0-3. And when it comes to the Renegades, one of the best teams in Pittsburgh, along with the Aces, who we saw in week 1 of our Game of the Week series. Flipped out to the neutral zone. Megale will try to flip it back in again. This is played by Bergamasco, number 25. Another long shot. That got blocked. Didn't tell who blocked it. This is Allen who will try to send it in, which he's able to do. Changes for both teams as the Renegades will try that stretch pass. Intercepted. This is Anquan Smith. He's going to hammer another one, and that is a good save by Pat Bell. Have not had a chance to say good saves for the goalies much today because a lot of shots have gone by him. That's a good glove save. Anquan Smith loves to wire his shots from the point. He needs no invitation. But Bell makes a good save there. Which goalie can make a couple of saves, I think, will be the big question here in the rest of this game after all of the chaos we saw in the first period, or goals galore. Steri was trying to set the table behind the net. 8:15 to go in the second period. This is going to come to the side of the net. This is Anderson who's trying to set the table, and that ends up in the back of the net. It's going to be Ethan Helbling, number 25, who gets the goal. It happens kind of out of nowhere. The back of the net cam is going to show you. It's just a great setup and a point shot from the circle, and that goes 5-hole again on Ballesteri. Another 5-hole goal. That's 2 or 3 of them already. Begagno also gets an assist. So Anderson has a 3-assist game already, and we've barely played 2 minutes of the period. Ricky Anderson, national teamer in 2022, was first team in Pittsburgh last year, coming off 17 points, 10 assists, 7 goals. Boy, he's already got 3 assists in the first game of this season. Loose along the wall. That's Hunter Fairman, number 3, who knocks it away. Trying to set it up to Strelka, but he will play it behind the net himself. Now Strelka gets it near side, trying to lead the breakout. Shuttles it ahead. Back here for Jake Hollick. Long pass ahead for the Imperium. It comes to Persichetti. On it comes to Smith. Trying to get it to the side, and then Anquan Smith, licensed to roam as a defender. Gonna get another shot in. Bell squeezes it. Not the most comfortable looking save, but he is able to squeeze it. And Anquan Smith is everywhere. He's at the point, but he doesn't need to be at the point to get these shots in. That's a far circle. Great shot. Has a lot of whip to it. Comes in with some power, and Bell makes a very nice save. Face off to the left of Bell. Another shot comes in wide. He's just going to stick it to the wall there. Sharp angle shot hit the back of the cage. And that's Megale who tries to rip it out. Doesn't clear, and another point shot is stopped. It's Smith again. Watch how this just gets funneled back to the point as Smith also dumped his man Felsing there at the side of the net. And on the side of the point, I should say, after that shot. Here comes again. Smith ended up losing out. I think he just took a penalty there. What a diving play by Felsing, who got in the way of that. I think Smith just took a roughing penalty. Let's have a look at this. Here is number 16. Follow it here. A little bit of extra contact, and that's what the referee saw. And then Felsing, I don't think, saw the arm up in the air. He went diving to the ground to try to make a play, but it is a power play for the Renegades. They already have one power play goal. What can they do here? They can be patient here as they try to set this up. Centering pass. That was Anderson who tried to get it in front, but it is cleared. And the Renegades will try to set up 90-second penalties in ball hockey. Play is offside. See, there's 6:26 to go in the period and 1:07 to go in the penalty to Anquan Smith. Face-off in the neutral zone. Of course, once you gain the blue line in ball hockey, you then have to clear it beyond the red line, the floating blue line as it's known. If you're a newcomer to ball hockey, it's good pressure there from the Imperium to try to force a turnover as they looking to set up on the power play. Able to work their way over the line, sent towards the net. Alisteri had to cover the short side there. A guy with Felsing. And to set this movement up. Gets to that far circle. A one-time shot. It is in again. It's Migliozzi from the left circle. He just wires home his second goal of the day. What a great setup. Nice motion and movement. The cross, crease pass, cross the rink pass, and that's Migliozzi who just hammers it home. Anderson and Felsing get the assist. Anderson has a 4-assist day. How about that? Felsing also picked up his first assist today. Migliozzi's second. Another power play goal. They've scored a couple of minutes. Now 5-3 in favor of the Renegades. Brighton Heights Renegades. Heck of a start to this game for them. Just wiring home shots, and Alisteri is having a difficult afternoon. Another chance got blocked in front. They were called the Northside Renegades as Bell covers this up, but they switched to Brighton Heights because that is the name of the rink a lot of these players played at in their youth. See name changes and color changes quite often in ball hockey, but the spirit of these teams stays pretty much the same. But whether it's Northside or Brighton Heights, it is still a 5-3 lead for them. First time anybody's had a 2-goal lead today. In the first period, the Renegades, every goal was answered back by one from the Imperium, but now it is a 2-goal deficit. And see what the Imperium have to offer in terms of getting back into this game. 2-goal deficit is nothing when 8 have already gone in. Renegades win the scrum. They'll play it ahead. That was Anderson trying to get it in, and that had to be covered by Alisteri. I don't even think a lot of the goals that have gone in have been ones he really should have saved. A couple of 5-hole goals, obviously. Once you're a goalie and you give up a couple of 5-hole goals in a game, that's frustrating. Power play goal, really nothing you could do. Left circle, just complete blast. Cross rink, good ball movement. But the challenge now is for Alisteri. You just got to get the next save. As we're halfway through the second period, 5-3 Renegades. Gonna come along the wing. This is Phillips trying to clear it. He's in a lot of trouble. Forced a turnover. Comes in front and they score again. And it is Anderson who has 4 assists already today. Now he's got a goal. It's Bigeno who set it up. Number 86 right here. He won a battle and nobody covers Anderson, who just rips it home. And it's 6-3 Renegades. Well, he needed the next save. Zach Alisteri, and he couldn't get the save, but to be fair to him, I mean, Anderson is all alone. There's another chance trying to make it 7-3. Anderson was looking for a second goal in a matter of seconds. That's a 5-point day for Anderson. Of course, last year he had 17 points. Today he's got 5. The way it's going, he could, get to half of his point total from last season in one game. Another opportunity here for the Imperium. A backhand shot. I think that might have been blocked by Malloy in front of the net. A little twirling backhand. Never made it all the way through. Smith trying to play it up the wall. Right in front of the Imperium bench. How frustrating must it be right now to have played the period they played in the first, answering goals, and now giving up 3 here in the second. This is Begeno trying to send it across. He's able to get that over to Felsing into the zone. Trying to center. That's a good stick there from Richie Allen. Another long shot. That goes wide, but it came to the far side. Centering pass came to the left circle. Another opportunity for the Renegades, but they are now going to back off. 3:30 to go in the period. Bank off the short boards, but it's cleared ahead. Felsing tried to twirl with it, and he couldn't get it under his control. Can the Imperium break through? They can't here, though. Tough spot to be in. Comes this way. That shot was blocked. Another chance is swept over the top and out of play by Bigliozzi, who is on a hat trick. He had 6 goals last season and 12 points. Bigliozzi has 2 goals already today, but he has not set up any of these goals. He's just been the finisher, at least for now. Gonna get this face-off here to Valsteri's left. It's one back to the red line and sent back in again. 3 minutes to go in period number 2. A 6-3 lead. Up the wall. That was forced in by Shane Ferris. Dropped along there by Cam Smith. He's onto it and he shoots that one wide. Ferris tried to wheel it into the slot. Apologies, you knew that pun was coming. It was going to happen at some point. Took till the second period, though. Comes across the rink. It's Smith who takes it away. Smith, he's looking for one, and that got blocked in front. Don't know how much Bell saw that. Might have gone off a stick before it got there. Smith's just firing as many shots towards the net as he possibly can. And he now sets up someone. How about that shot from Crozy? And absolutely wired it, but it was held onto by Bell. Look at this shot. Bell almost lost his footing and his balance, but he was able to hold on. A great save. Bell is the one of the 2 goalies who have made some very nice saves thus far. Another shot. That's off his glove. That came from Ferris from the point. This is Persichetti sweeping it out in front. There's a lot of shouting and pointing. Did that go in? I think that's what they're saying, but referees have to sort this out. They are Imperium players saying, did this go in? Now the referees have to talk about it. I think in the end it did. And that's what the referees are now going to go over to the Imperium bench and say it did go in. I couldn't even tell who got that. I think it might have been... It was someone who was able to put it in. I couldn't really tell who it was. What a crazy sequence that was there. But it ends up being a goal. It's now 6-4. That is a penalty coming up too. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Oh, that's a big hit. That was Anderson who took the penalty. It is a roughing penalty, so it's 6-4. That ball is cleared into the benches. It is now a power play for the Imperium in a 6-4 game. What are they going to do with this? Anderson, he's got a goal. He's got 4 assists. And now he has a penalty. Draw one here by the Imperium. They try to set the table. Smith shoots it. Blocked in front. Went wide as well. Back to the point. It's held in by Crozy. He can certainly wire a shot through. That's a save by Bell, and another chance was cleared away. Unable to get that beyond Bergamasco. Smith. And Crozy again. Smith, he doesn't need an invitation to shoot. He scores. There's Anquan Smith again. We were waiting for it, and eventually it happened. Last year's MVP and MVD had 8 goals and 21 points, and this is a point shot that is pretty lethal. There it is, and Bell just could not squeeze it. Crozy set it up. That's his second assist of the day. And so it is now 6-5. It's a 1-goal game again. After going down by 3, the Imperium have worked their way back into getting this thing within a goal. 11 goals, and we haven't even finished 2 periods yet. What a wild game in Pittsburgh. That shot came through and goes just wide. Minute to go in the period. When it goes down, that is going to be, I think, a penalty. Yeah, it's going to be on the Imperium, and I think it's Crozy who goes. Referee had his arm up before Ballesteri covered it up, and yeah, there's the play. Hannison gets dumped. That is a hook. And so a power play coming up. Chance for the Renegades to go back up by 2. Felsing sets the table. Tried to get that along, but it was blocked away. Here's Anderson. Goes cross rink. There's a chance, and they score. What a setup, and that is Migliozzi setting up in the left circle for a hat trick. He's already scored one of these, but look at the amount of time he gets to pick his spot and score. Migliozzi, his 3rd goal. Anderson has a 5th assist. Michael Felsing has a 2nd assist. And it's now 7-5. Another power play goal. 3 of them on the day. For the Renegades, it's now 7-5. There isn't much time left in this period, but there might be more time for another goal. Anderson sends it across. Backdoor play. It doesn't go. That looked like it was going to be a goal. Anderson trying to set up Malloy. Still a chance for the Renegades here before the period ends, but the net is off the pegs, and so play has to be stopped while they put it back on again. 7-5 Renegades in a wild game. Of course, we just said that the Imperium gave up 7 to the Aces, so you want to tighten up defensively, and they haven't done that. Second straight game allowing 7 goals is a rough situation. Rennebeck will take the draw, the team captain. Pulls it back. This is Strilka, and that goes in. Oh, a point shot that looked harmless just found its way by everyone and by Ballesteri. Just off a face-off win. The GoPro will give us a little bit of help. I wonder if that was deflected. I wonder if it went off a stick. I think it did. Well, that's a tough one for Ballesteri. It's now 8-5, so the 3-goal lead restored. A couple of goals with, what, no time left in the period almost. Oh, the Imperium worked so hard to get back into this and then have given up 2 goals, another power play goal. It's now 8-5, and I think that is the end of the period. A crazy period. If you thought the first period was nuts, this one crazier. 5 goals for the Renegades, 2 for the Imperium. It's now an 8-5 game as we head to the 3rd.
Tune in to the Commish Chat podcast, your go-to source for weekly league breakdowns, current events, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world of ball hockey and the NBHL. Whether you're a player, a fan, or just discovering the game, we've got you covered. We break down top matchups, highlight standout performances, and dive into everything happening on and off the rink, from highlight reel goals to major league updates and everything in between. New episodes drop regularly, and you can catch every one on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Commish Chat, an NBHL podcast.
If you like goals, this game of the week is for you. We've got 13 of them already. It is 8-5, and yeah, we had 6 goals in the first period, and then we topped it with 7 in the second. Matthew Aaron, thank you for being with us. Coming to you from Pittsburgh this week. If this is the amount of goals we're going to see from Pittsburgh, I don't think we're going anywhere else. Sorry to Massachusetts and New Jersey and everyone else, but the goals are what we look for, and there are a lot of goals. Apologies to the goalies in the audience. Let's go over some of them. We can't go over all of them. How about the goal that almost wasn't? This was from Nick Phillips. Didn't say it in commentary, but he gets his 2nd goal of the season. Persichetti and Hollick set this one up. It goes in and out so fast, fitting for a game like this, that the referees didn't spot it, but the Imperium players did. thankfully, they were able to get that goal on the board. Then they get a power play goal from Anquan Smith. We talked about him off the top of the show and throughout the game. MVP last year and the most valuable defenseman. One of the players in the Pittsburgh division. He gets his first goal of the season. Quiet the first couple of games. It's 6-5. That's a power play goal, but then another penalty, and the power play goes to work for Anthony Migliozzi. He's gotten a couple of these from the left circle today. Just wires home this shot. You're giving him way too much space. Anderson, by the way, 1 goal and 5 assists. He's got 6 points already on this game, and then it's 7-5, and this goal late from Strilka is a backbreaker. Rennebeck sets it up. It's just a point shot. It deflects off of something on the way in. That's a really tough spot to be in, but the Imperium have made it close after a previous 3-goal deficit. You have to stay tuned to the third period to see if they can do it again. 8-5 Renegades after 2. About to head to the third period of this ridiculous game in Banksville. 8-5 for the Renegades after a 7-goal second period. The Renegades got 5 of them. They scored the first 3 goals. That was Helbling, Migliozzi's second, and Anderson. Then 2 back for the Imperium from Phillips and Smith, and then 2 more before that period ended from Migliozzi for his hat trick and Strilka. By the way, if you notice a slight change in the cameras, quality, and audio, we had some technical difficulties, but our crack team at the NBHL, we solved the problems, and so you're going to see the third period. Might just sound a little different, but apologies for that. But the quality of the ball hockey is still the same, and should be some goals in this period if 8-5 is any indication. This is thrown in by Crozy, who has had an interesting game. He's had a couple of assists and a goal previous to this. Another long shot. That was from Smith. It deflects wide. Loose in front. Bell had to get down in his stance. Pollock will send it in along the boards. This is played by Rennebeck. Roman Rennebeck has 3 assists. Usually, if you got a 3-assist player in one of these games, you're going to be one of the stars of the game. But we've got someone with a hat trick and someone with 6 points. So no offense to him. He's having a great game, but a lot of players are having really good offensive games for the Renegades today. Making a statement in their first game of the season. Unlike the Imperium, who have played a couple and have already lost 2 games this season. Trying to, not get to a 3-game losing streak, but they're in trouble here. This is Malloy trying to get it in front. That didn't work out. Anquan Smith. He's certainly lived up to the scouting report. He's firing away a lot of shots. You find him everywhere, all over the rink. Really impressive player. 1 goal, but in a game like this, when it's 8-5, 1 player can only do so much. Persichetti trying to force the turnover with a little forecheck, but Strilka and others have it covered. Strilka got that late goal with about, 10 seconds left in the second period. I think that could end up being a back-breaking goal, the way this game has gone on. It's sent across the rink, picked up by Felsing. Felsing's got a couple of assists and a goal today. Sent all the way down. That is going to be an icing, I believe. Again, there's so many goals to keep track of. You kind of forget. Felsing scored in the period, the first period. Malloy had a goal. Again, you have Migliozzi with a hat trick. Anderson's got a goal and 5 assists for a 6-point game. Heck of a game, though. Not much fun for the goalies, not much fun for the coaches, but definitely fun for the neutrals. Games like this, there's no question about that. This is played all the way back to Strilka, who has to set it up at face-off. Jacob Fetzer, number 28, player we haven't mentioned a whole lot of today, but he's been part of setting the table defensively. Allen. Like it goes in the Imperium. Just a really difficult start to the year. There's no question about that. Couple of losses, lost the Aces 7-2, and then this team that's also more than likely going to be looking towards a national spot. Only 2 teams from this region get national berths when the season comes to an end. And the way the Renegades are scoring, we also know how good the Aces are. A lot of good teams in the Pittsburgh region, so competition to get into the playoffs is fierce. And again, for the Imperium, they won national championships in 2021 and 2022. They made it all the way to the final, looking for a three-peat and couldn't get there. And they missed the national tournament last year because they lost in the Pittsburgh semifinals. Really difficult into their season. And they're trying to get back to the standards that they set, of course, but a whole lot more work to do on the evidence of what we've seen here. On they play it ahead. This is Crozy. Tried to get a shot, and that was blocked, and it goes up and out of play. One of the handful of Imperium players that stays over from last year. Again, a mixture of Penn Hills Battalion players, Imperium players, and some newcomers. I get a face-off to the left of Pat Bell, who has had the easier day in goal, giving up 5 goals. That does not happen very often, does it? So let's see, off the face-off, it'll be Annison to take it. Loose for a second. Well, there's a player down for the Imperium. I can't see who it is. Hopefully they are okay.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool and doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink garage beer. It's American and so can you. Garage beer, beer-flavored beer.
So while the injury was taken care of, we are now back to live action. Hopefully that Imperium player is okay. Couldn't see who it was. But it's the last thing the Imperium needed after a day. Give up 8 goals or losing, avoid going 0-3 and then an injury. That looked innocuous, but hopefully it ends up being innocuous. Tommy Sposito, number 13, playing along. Said his name wrong in the first period, and I apologize to anyone whose name I say wrong. That is not what any play-by-play announcer wants to do, but we are all human. Bell was able to stop that entry shot there. Rattled around the boards by Will Frisco, number 18. Renegades backhand this in to the corner. Sposito again up the wall. Just going to go aerial to try to get it into the neutral zone, but Frisco gloved it down. And loose in the neutral zone where it's picked up again by the Renegades with Felsing. And see, the Renegades didn't even need to hear Renegade to get juiced up for this game. Your Pittsburgh Steelers tradition that makes its way to ball hockey, of course. Hunter Fairman, number 3. Trying to get rid of it, but he is double-teamed. Imperium, if they get a goal, they've got an opportunity to inch their way back into this game. That's another save from Pat Bell with about 4:44 to go in the period. It's good work. 2v1, win a battle. And it came to Persichetti, who got the shot away, but Bell able to make the save. In this game, you just need your goalie to make the next save. And Pat Bell has done the work in making the next save like that from a sharp angle with a lot of bodies in the way. There's a lot of traffic in front of both goalies. Opportunity perhaps for a breakaway. Malloy, it's sticked away before he could ever get a shot on Ballesteri. Imperium need 3 goals to tie it. And they've got a lot of work to do to get there. Nick Phillips. Along the wall, number 91. Backhands it to the point, and that long shot is off a stick. That was Ferris, and it goes out of play. 4:11 to go in the period. 4:11 to go in the game. Imperium certainly running out of time. They worked so hard to get their 5 goals, which is a season high for them. They only scored 4 goals in their first 2 games. They gave up 10. Unfortunately, today they've scored 5, but they've given up 8. There's another long shot that Bell tips out of play. National team goalie Pat Bell, most valuable goalie in 2023. Sometimes it's just good offense that gets to goalies, no matter how good you are. You can play really well in a game, you give up 5. I know all goalies have had one of those at a point. There's another great save by Bell. That was Smith, who fired in another chance at the side of the net, and Bell does it again. He's played quite the game for giving up 5 goals. Just a great look from the GoPro here at the side of that. It's a little turnaround shot from Bergamasco, and he was able to hold on. Bergamasco coming off a 9-point season last year. Had some chances, but he's unable to get on the score sheet today. Persichetti's been the offensive star for the Imperium. This is brought in by Phillips, and Bell again makes a save. Another chance, and that goes wide backhanded from Bergamasco. National team player trying to get his team back into it. Another icing. Unsurprising that the traffic is in the defensive end for the Renegades as the Imperium just try to force their way back into this. Get that goal to make it 8-6. You could pull your goalie. You could score 2 goals with the goalie pulled. Just ask the St. Louis Blues how that went over the weekend. Not impossible, but you got to get that next goal. That's so important right now for the Imperium. Gonna try to backhand it through. I think Bell made the save again. Certainly had a little trouble finding it on the whatever it went off of on the rebound. 3:30 to go. Imperium, time is not their friend. Loose in the neutral zone. Smith trying to turn it along. Bergamasco weaving over the line. He got through Strilka's check. Lobbed out from behind the net. This is not going to be icing because Ferris had a chance to play it. He's got to get this going in a hurry. Was cross rink. This is Smith. Gonna try to go long, and that's not going to be icing either. There was a call for it. Comes Begeno. He's going to whip one in, and it goes in. He just shot that from the neutral zone, and it goes in. Oh, this one is one that Ballesteri will want back. This is a harmless-looking play. Just from the neutral zone, red line. Does he take his eye off the ball for a second? Maybe. It just goes over his shoulder. I think he tried to blocker it away, and that might be the back-breaking goal. One from the neutral zone from Begeno. That's a tough one for Ballesteri. 9th goal of the day for the Renegades. And now Imperium, that might be just about the last that they can offer. That's a tough one to give up. Sticked away there by Ballesteri to the corner. Back up high. That was Rennebeck who holds in. Laid along the wall. And the Renegades don't even really need to attack more. It's just play keep away. They've got plenty of the goals. That one came through the crease. That could have been the 10th goal right there. Rennebeck again. Back up the wall, looking for some room. This is Magali. 44, he gave it away. This is Crozy trying to shoot it in. Bell deflects it out of play. Less than 2 minutes to go. I don't think the Imperium, even in this game, there's enough time to score 4 goals in 2 minutes. Difficult spot to be in. But for the Renegades, I mean, you're probably not going to get 9 goals every week. But certainly the players that have had really incredible games. Anderson's had 6 points. Migliozzi has the hat trick. Heck of an afternoon here in Pittsburgh for the Renegades in their season debut. It certainly looks like they're going to be a team that is going to challenge for the top of this division again. Even if 9 goals is unlikely to happen again. I think they'll take 9 goals in 3 games, honestly. And Pat Bell, for having given up 5 goals, has had a pretty nice afternoon. Certainly in the back end of it, when you just have to make the saves to limit the hope for the opposition. That's exactly what he's done. To the front, that spun around. Decent chance for Weaver. Wouldn't go. Cleared the other way. This is Malloy. He's got it back here. No need to rush or do anything crazy. You're up by 4. Migliozzi. Surely a 4-goal game can't be coming. There's a backhand shot that goes wide. That came from Strilka. Loose at the side of the net. I think that one went in too. Yeah, it did. Oh, that's frustrating for Ballesteri. It's Malloy who just jammed it in. Ballesteri, he catches up, but there's a little room right there. Oh, yeah, another 5-hole goal. I don't even think Malloy was trying to jam it in as hard as he could have because of the situation, but that makes it 10-5 Renegades. Malloy, Strilka has a 2-point game. Felsing has a 3-assist game. So you've got a couple players with 3 assists. Malloy has 2 goals. And we're not going to be mentioning them at game's end for player of the game because there were some real superstars in this game that showed out with some incredible performances. Last minute to play in the period. And mercifully for the Imperium, this day is going to be done. Unfortunately, they're going to fall to 0-3. After a 3-2 loss and a 7-2 loss, you can now add a 10-5 loss to their ledger. Difficult spot to be in. Not an impossible hole to dig out of, but certainly a hole that they have to dig out of. Allen, the team captain who played for the battalion last year, he'll get his team ready for next week. I'm sure of that. Strilka up the wall. Another shot goes high. That's 23 seconds to go. Imperium still trying to get one more. 6 goals is good enough to win most days. It's not going to be good enough to win here. That shot goes wide. That was from Hollick, the defenseman. And there's 10 seconds left and spun ahead. That's just about going to do it. What an afternoon for the Brighton Heights Renegades. A 10-5 win. We'll recap quite a bit of this coming up. Lots to talk about. The Renegades' first win of the season, the Imperium falling to 0-3.
From the beginning of time, men and women have been friends, family, but yet rivals as well. Some of the most epic battles have been fought from the North to the South Pole and anywhere in between. As time flies, battles have transformed themselves into sports. Yet, the fundamentals remain the same, with lighter shields and a different type of sword. But evolution is clever. It introduces new rules but keeps one thing intact: adrenaline. So it's with honor and pride that we present to the world all of the above into one sport. Hockey ball, the game born in the North that can be played from the mountains to the ocean and from America to Europe, all the way to the land of the rising sun. Napper. Anyone, anywhere.
Well, the third period didn't have as many goals. It did have 2 more for the Renegades. Brighton Heights 10, Penn Hills Imperium 5. Matthew Aaron, thank you for being with us for a wild game of the week. As I said before, if we're going to keep getting 10-5 games in Pittsburgh, we're not going anywhere else. And apologies to all the other regions. Some stars from this game, and for the Renegades, there are a bunch of them. We have to talk about 1, Anthony Migliozzi, a hat trick, just wiring through a couple of incredible goals. Some of them were power play goals. He had 2 of them. Just set him up in the left circle and watch the shots fly in. And he did that a couple of times. 3 power play goals on the day for the Renegades, and they surely had that opportunity. And Ricky Anderson, a 5-assist day to go with a goal as well. 6 points. Last year he had 17. So if you're getting players like that with a hat trick, you've got someone with 6 points, you're going to win most afternoons. A tough game for the Imperium. You score 5 and you lose by 5. They're falling to 0-3. Renegades are now 1-0. Both of these teams looking for that big push in the Pittsburgh division, and we'll see how they go the rest of the year. Don't think next week's game of the week is going to have as many goals, but if it does, you know where you're going to find it. I'm Matthew, and thank you for being with us. The game of the week, we will see you next week.